Jasper had a piece. He had a piece in an exhibition recently. I was going to say at work, but I like saying a piece. It was at the art school that he goes to. It was from Officeworks. It was a banner. So it's like one of those banners which, when it folds up, it's just like a neat little metal rectangle, and you pull up from the base and the folder unrolls and turns into a big flat banner. And he printed on it his own Instagram feed, like in the feed format. So it just showed like a bunch of his recent digital drawings, probably like 5 or 6 maybe fit on there. And yeah, it was good. Yeah, what can I say? I call it a piece rather than a work because straight up top. Hey, I made a video here, art reflection. It's that sign. It's the sign, but in action. Anyway, yeah, call it a piece rather than a work, because like, it is a piece. Like, it's a single thing that you could buy or sell. It's not like an installation or something else that he's done. It's just a little arbitrary definition of piece versus work for you that is mine. Yeah, Jasper's got some really good stuff. He's a good thinker. He told me, he said something recently in an email which was like really articulated something that I've thought for a while but never really articulated before. But it was really interesting. I don't mean to I hope I don't butcher what he said, but to sort of paraphrase, he said something to the effect of like, when he's making things, he doesn't necessarily have a specific intention about the meaning or the commentary behind a piece of work, but rather he makes things that are then able to sort of conjure up or make you think about all these other meanings that are floating around. Like he talked about it as if like there's all these potential meanings and concepts floating around that are waiting for a host object, like an artwork, to inhabit. And I think the banner is a really good example of that, because it makes me think about a lot of things, but I don't think that the object in itself is prescriptive as to one kind of meaning. Like, it's not like a bold, fat statement. It's sort of just like this object which has a lot of peripheral meaning that you could read into. For instance, the fact that he got the banner made at Officeworks is very interesting. It's like consumer level outsourcing of labor, and like even just doing that is very interesting to me, I think, to the end result. The aesthetic of it, of the banner, and the fact that most people that order those banners to be made are probably doing them for some business or like for a festival, or like some kind of promotion, capital broadening kind of venture. So then to do it in the context of a visual artwork is very interesting. For another thing, printing the Instagram feed, like the tension, like the kind of anachronism of printing the Instagram feed on a physical sheet of glossy paper is very interesting as well, because we understand things like Instagram as like this very flexible portfolio. Like his Instagram, is basically just like a constantly evolving and expanding portfolio of his own work. Photos, he does a lot of drawings on there, he puts up paintings and things, like stuff that he's working on. So then it's an interesting tension where the posts don't perform in the way that we're used to when they're just like static on a banner. And also in the sense that we don't Instagram is always on a phone. I guess sometimes it's on a computer, but for the large part it's on a phone, and so you're interacting with it, you're scrolling, you're viewing it for a set length of time, and it occupies your whole screen. Whereas to see all these posts at once is very different. You can't like it, you can't comment on it. It's sort of like, I think of it almost as just sort of gesturing towards this disparity between the way people consume visual media, and I'm including art and promotional material in the same category of visual media. He's posting these artworks, these digital drawings, and he is an artist in a traditional sense, and then in it, and that's in a traditional art setting. So then the only thing really that's different is what Instagram attaches to it, which is the aesthetic of the app, the layout of where the picture is, where the settings button is, what there's a like function, what that looks like, how you see other people's likes, like all this other aesthetic criteria comes into play that's out of his control. So I think that's really interesting, and I think it exemplifies exactly what he was talking about in that email, because I'm sure if you spoke to him about it, he'd say different things that I'm saying right now. I think he'd agree with what I'm saying. Maybe he'd clarify what I'm saying, like even further. Like he would say, well, maybe not exactly that, but this thing. But yeah, I very much like this thing that he says about host objects inhabiting these floating meanings, because I feel that applies to a lot of what I do as well. Like, fuck, it's so windy and so loud, in the sense that I would make something, and it wouldn't have a prescriptive kind of moral or message or kind of even just like straight up meaning. It would be very flexible according to your understanding of the medium. That's the other thing, like that work in particular would have such a different reaction. Like it also sort of calls out the disparity between the new media literate and the new media illiterate and the social media illiterate. In the sense that a lot of people would be like, what is this? What is this shit? You know? This isn't a serious platform. This is a roast. Yeah. Anyway, shouts out. Big shouts out to Jasper. He's doing some great work. He really is doing great work. It sounds so condescending. I don't mean that to be condescending. I genuinely mean that. He does really good work. I find it very interesting. And he's doing new shit all the time. Like he doesn't like push a lot of his stuff, and he doesn't publish all his stuff, but like he has a lot of really good stuff, a lot of really interesting ideas. And I think that as time goes on and he gets more and more like loose with, or like as he just hustles more and kind of puts more things out there. Not that he even has to do that. I mean, he does things already at a good rate. I guess the point is, I mean, as time goes on, he's going to amass a very interesting past of objects and ideas that he's pursued, etc.